Malcolm McCoy, you gotta give it a try. He said, Malcolm McCoy, you gotta give it a try. It's breakfast with Bob, oh yeah.
Pancho Man. We are brought to you by EAS Sports Nutrition, Hoka One Polar, Oscar Wellness, Velo Fix. We are holding our championship edition at Four Seasons Hualalai, and we're airing on triathlonworld.com. Our next guest, two-time Ironman world champion, and the guy who is first time here, Luc Van Lierde. The first time you came here in 96, you had never run a marathon before. You'd never done an Ironman before, and all you did was break the course record. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, Bob. Yeah, that's 20 years ago now.
It is exactly 20 years ago.
Yeah, I remember it pretty well. Then came here to win, of course. I came here to get top 5, top 3.
Yes.
I did Nice a few times before, and I won Nice 2 times.
Now, did you run Nice that same year in 96?
Yes, I did Nice, and the year before and the year before that too.
Yeah.
And Marcan was the course record holder in Nice too.
Yes.
And I broke his record there with 4 or 5 minutes, so wasn't the full distance, of course. Was a 3/4.
18 miles, yeah.
It was a 4K swim, 120K bike, and a 32K run.
Yes.
Well, the biggest difference is the last 60K and the last 10K, of course. But I did the training for it, but I was lucky that year. Well, maybe lucky is not the right word, but the island was kind on weather conditions that year.
Yes.
So there was no wind. It was cloudy, bit rain during the run. So good conditions for a fast time, and good conditions for a first timer.
Well, and I remember interviewing you afterwards, and because obviously we always talk about the wind and the heat, and your thought was, well, it's windy in Belgium. And this wind wasn't really any worse than what I've trained in. But it wasn't a typical Hawaii year.
No.
But you found out the next year.
Yeah, the years to come after that, especially 98, that was a tough year.
Yes.
And a few later also, of course, but I remember 98, pretty windy. And I remember Jürgen Zak, Thomas went away. I said, that's okay. I think I will catch those. But Peter went also with him. And I said, No, I don't think Peter can handle this.
Yes.
But he did at the end.
Yes.
So, and he got his first win then.
So when you won that race here in 96, and you had a blocking penalty of some sort, so you had to sit for 3 minutes, I think, at the end of the bike. At the end of the day, when you look back on it, obviously you never want to have a penalty,
no.
But you're also able to get your heart rate down a little bit, get some fluids in. Did that help you in the run?
I believe now, after so many years, that I probably think that the 3 minutes helped me.
Yes.
Because as a first timer, getting off the bike with Thomas, starting together with Thomas, maybe I would have started too fast, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I sat down for 3 minutes, started the marathon, and I actually didn't care anymore. I just, I do this marathon and I see where it ends up.
Yes.
I wasn't really thinking of focusing of doing well anymore. But when I went up Palani Road, taking a ride on the Queen K, I started to feel better and better and better, and starting to believe that maybe it is my day. And so maybe it did give me an advantage, and it helped me in a positive way getting that 3 minute penalty. I wasn't the only one. Paula had 3 minute penalty too, and she ended up winning the race.
I love it. And the thing that's always is amazing, Thomas Hellriegel, in 95, he had 12, 13 minutes on Mark Allen. And ran a good marathon, 2:58, I think. And Mark ran him down, had to run 2:42. Your year, I think he ran sub 250, 2:46 or something.
Yeah, he did.
He runs 2:46 and loses again, and because you ran 2:41, I think. Yeah. So poor Thomas, he had two great races, but ended up in second place both times. When you passed him, did he try to go with you? Because he was running pretty fast.
He was running fast, 2:46, 2:41. That's not a big gap, of
No.
course. So if you know you have to run so long to close that gap, you have to make sure that he doesn't stick on.
Yes.
And, so I just stayed behind him for a little while, and then I made an acceleration on a little downhill. Don't ever make an acceleration on an uphill, on a downhill, and just crossing the street to the opposite side, just to try to not convince him to follow and stay where he is.
So when you come down a Le'e Drive, again, you hadn't been here before, probably didn't know that much about the history of this particular event. When you came across the finish line, You won a race. You've won a lot of races. Was there a bigger impact back home when you won this race than any other race you'd ever done?
Yes. That was Kona is still, it's the myth, huh? This is where it all started. So
Yes.
If you need to win a race, then this is the one to win, of course. And when I'm going back home, I've never experienced it afterwards. Maybe a few years later when I won it for the second time.
Yes.
But especially the first time, I think at the airport in Brussels, it was almost closed because there were 10, 15 buses down there filled with people, supporters. So when you get out of the gate, I mean, it was filled with people. Nobody could get in or could get out.
Were you surprised?
I was really surprised that. And
'Cause it wasn't like, I mean, in Europe, winning a gold medal is so big. And the Ironman in a lot of countries isn't that well known. But when you won the Ironman, all of a sudden everybody in Belgium knew what the Ironman was.
Yeah. Well, Belgium is a small country, so if you become the best in a sport in the world, then you did something pretty unique. It's difficult to compare that in the US. You have so many good athletes in so many sports that you have so many world championships. So people get maybe spoiled by it. Maybe they get used to it. At the Olympics, got the most gold medals. So another one. But in our country, small country, so if you get the best in the world in the sport that you do, that's something unique.
So for the Ironman, you would come to San Diego and do some training on Fiesta Island, which is where a lot of the first ever triathlon started there in 1974. And if I remember correctly, you would do repeats around the island, riding, and you do brick workouts.
Multiple bricks, yes.
And what would you do? What was the type of stuff you did?
Well, at that island was actually Chuck Gerson. You know Chuck
very
from
well.
San Diego. He was the one who told me, you go there, you have no traffic, it's easy
One-way
training down
road,
there. And he used to swim and run and bike there too, so in the 70s. So he knows the area pretty well. So he advised me to go and train out there. But I had training sessions where I started off with a 40K bike ride. Then I did 6 sessions of 15K, made it progressive every 5K, made it progressively.
Running or
no,
cycling?
Biking.
Bike, okay.
So starting from your extensive pace, going to your Ironman pace, and then go a little bit faster than your Ironman pace, and then back it up with a 3K, a little bit faster than Ironman pace, and do this set about 5-6 times, and then end up with another 16K run, or end up with another 60K bike or 16K run. So that was a 5-hour training session, sometimes 6 hours, where you combine the two sports. But when you do the brick, you simulate your race pace, or just a little bit faster.
What's great about that is it's you always have wind out there. There's always going to be wind. It's an island, so you're going to simulate what you get here.
Yep. And it was pretty windy out there.
Always.
And, but it's still nothing compared to here, of
No.
course. I've went out on the course during the last 10 days, not with the bike, but with a motorcycle, motor pacing for my athletes. And within 10K, you can have a win at the side, win at the back, win in the front. So it's not the same like on the Fiesta Island, but it was nice training out there.
You had a number of great races with Peter Reed, where he would be first and you would be second, and then in '99 you were first and he was second. What was it about? Did you feel, could you guys be friends, or
sure.
You were friends even though
I was friends with, we were all friends together. We really didn't had any problems not doing the race, not off the race. No, we were all friends, and I don't know, I hope it's still the same at the moment.
Yes.
So no, we were all friends together.
One of the things you mentioned earlier is we did a photo shoot with you and Peter. It was basically shootout, and we had you guys in cowboy outfits, which was really fun. But that was in May, and Peter Reed was in a cast. And when your athletes come to you now and say, "Oh, it's May, and I'm injured, and I don't know if I can race the rest of the year," you're like, "Well, Peter Reed had a cast on, and he won Ironman that year."
Yeah, but it's the most important thing with Kona is you have to make sure you're fresh at the start. I know these times it's pretty difficult to do that because you have to qualify, you have all those races to compete at. Then you have your sponsors who wants you to race on other races, so it's really difficult to be fresh on this
Yes.
race. So if you have an injury problem, like Peter Reed had in 2000, he had to skip some training, he had to skip some races, but that makes you fresh on race day.
Right.
For me, I see a little bit the same with Frederick this year. He crashed in Fuerteventura, broke his collarbone. Missed some training, missed some races, but yeah, he's fresh at the start. So, and that makes a big difference.
Now, Frederick has won here in 2013, and from talking to him the other day, he seems in a really good place. Like you said, he's certainly not over-raced.
Nope.
And seems like he's in a position where he can win this race again. There's been a number of times where I remember in, I think it was 14, that he was going back and forth with Ben Hoffman. On the here he ended up, further back, but he was right there. He was right in the mix. Do you feel that he can win here?
He's one of the guys
Yes.
who can win here. It will be tactical race,
Yes.
I expect.
Yes.
Especially with the guys, very tactical race, and so we have to make the right decision at the right moment. And but we will know. I think we will know on the way back from Waikoloa back. I think we will know a lot by then.
The other person who has really impressed me is Michelle Vesterby. And what I love, obviously, her personality is off the charts. She's wonderful. But last year when I saw her win Challenge Denmark was the first time she looked like a runner to me. Her body, she was upright and she was leaner. And you coach her.
Yeah.
How hard was that to take her from where she was and make her realize that running is a weapon for her, that she is a good runner?
Well, generally it's already difficult to coach Michelle because she's special, we all know that.
Yes.
But you have to explain to her a few times why. And with her, it's very important that she knows why,
Yes.
why I'm doing this and what's going to happen. You have to try to focus on and predict how it's going to evolve. And she needs to understand it. She's not the type of athlete that will just do the training
Right.
because I tell her to. She wants to know why, and that way it's easier for her to understand and to do the session.
Now, what other athletes are you coaching here?
We have 6 pros at the starting line.
Okay.
Next to Frederick, I have Jens Peter Bach.
Okay.
Have Will Clark,
Yes.
who's a first timer here too. He did sub 8 in Denmark, so he's a runner.
Yes.
So he had the fastest marathon in Frankfurt. So I expect a lot from.
And
from
what
Will.
place? What did he finish at
He
Frankfurt?
finished 5th.
Okay.
Had some problems during the swim. Was without a wetsuit, so he was
Oh.
had some cold. So the first 60k on the bike, it was difficult for him
Yes.
to get heated up and get into the rhythm. So
He won't have that problem here.
He won't have that problem here, no. And then I have my 3 girls from Spain. I have Saleta Castro. She was 2nd in Maastricht, and she's also the runner, running a sub 305, 304 she ran, in Frankfurt 305. So she's also a pretty good runner. She's really good in the heat.
Yes.
Then next to her, of course, Michelle. And then I have another Belgian girl. She's a French-speaking, Alexandra Tondeur.
Okay.
It's her 3rd Ironman and her first Kona. And she came 2nd at Ironman Lanzarote. But she's still young, but a great talent. And somebody within a few years, you will hear a lot of her.
Do you, back in the day, you were invited to come here based on your standing
Yes.
in the world. If you had to follow these rules of trying to do a full Ironman to get here, you have always been fairly fragile. It would have been very difficult for
Yes.
you to do 2 marathons in a year,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, correct. For me, that would have been probably fatal. My body cannot handle that huge amount of volume training, and especially not the racing. So
Yes.
I probably would have been injured even more, or not be fresh at the starting line. So yeah, time changes. Of
And
course.
you look at the system and you're like, boy, I'm glad this wasn't the system when I
Yes.
was racing.
Yeah. Well, I saw Karen Smyers early this week, and she was saying the same thing.
Yes.
I'm so happy that we didn't have to do this because this wouldn't have been my thing.
Would have burned her out.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have come to this distance.
No. Well, probably I would, but maybe I wouldn't have been here so many times at the starting line
Yes.
because qualifying for this race is already a hard thing to do.
Yes. when I see a Jan Frodeno here with an entourage, with people to take care of things, the first thing I think of is, you came here by yourself,
Yep.
right? And sponsor issues, wheel issues, all that type of stuff. It's a different. There's obviously more money now, so that people can do that. How hard was it for you because you had to be almost like a domestique for yourself and an agent and everything
I had
else.
to do it all myself. Yeah, I was my manager. I was my trainer.
Yes.
I did everything.
Bike mechanic.
Well, I did it all. Yeah, but it made me the person that I am today.
Okay.
And so I benefited out of that in the career that I have now as a coach. So in everything there's something positive.
So you draw on that. You can draw on that for your athletes because you know that they will need support.
Yes.
You learn from your own sometimes mistakes.
Yes.
That this is the way it needs to be done if you want to be successful.
Yeah, and mistakes you make, of course, a lot of them. You see Mark, how many times
Yes.
he had to compete here before winning his first out of 6.
Yes.
So everybody went through that. But nowadays, of course, with it's a more professional sport now.
Right.
And so it won't take that long to get those good results, and the mistakes will be less than what we used to make.
What did it mean to you to win for the second time in '99? You'd won in '96, and then you come back in '99 to win it the second time.
In '99, only once in my life, and I had a long career, and once in my life I went to the starting and I said, I will win this race. And it was '99. Pretty strange, but that was the only race in my whole career that I was so sure that I was going to win. And I could control the race from start to finish, and I eventually won this race. But that was the only time in my career that I knew that I was going to win the race before, because I'm from nature, I'm not the optimistic athlete.
Right.
So.
And you had some ups and downs at this race. But there was a race, and I forget what year it was, and I think you finished 8th, or you finished up there. Was it 8th?
2008, yeah.
2008, you finished 8th. And you knew your little boy was back watching on the internet, and you wanted to make sure that, when he got up to watch, that Daddy actually had finished the race.
Yeah, because he got up a few times not knowing what's happening, and Daddy didn't finish. But the little boy has turned 23 now, so it's not little boy anymore. Now it's a little girl that's going to watch. She's 11, so she's going to be watching this race, even though Daddy is not competing, of course. But she knows that
all of Daddy's athletes.
All Daddy's athletes, yes.
Love it. Luc, always such an honor to have you with us, and always great to chat with you.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Two-time Ironman world champion, Luc Van Lierde. Pancho Man, take us out.
Mocha, you gotta give it a try. From the mountains to the sea, that's where I'll be. Breakfast with Bob. Breakfast with Bob. Breakfast with Bob.
Pancho, always a